Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into the work of Dr. Joseph Murphy to unpack what he called the master secret of the ages. Now, this isn't some lost treasure or a complicated formula. It's a miraculous, creative power that he says every single one of us already has. So, what is this secret? Let's get into it.
So where does Dr. Murphy even start with all this? Well, interestingly, he doesn't begin with answers. He starts with some of life's biggest questions. The kinds of things you've probably wondered about yourself when you see how random happiness and hardship can seem.
And think about it, right? It's such a basic question, but it gets right to the core of the human experience. We see these contrasts all around us, every single day. Dr. Murphy uses these questions to get us to stop looking at the surface and start searching for a much deeper cause.
And the list goes on. Why do some people crash and burn while others succeed against all odds? Why does one person have this miraculous recovery from an incurable disease while another doesn't? It all leads to the biggest question of all. Is there a single underlying answer to all of this? Well, according to Dr. Murphy, the answer is a huge yes, and it's probably simpler than you think.
And that simple answer, well, it brings us right to the heart of his entire philosophy, what he calls the mind's master secret. This is the one principle that he claims explains every single one of those big questions we just asked.
And here it is. The secret isn't some external force you have to go looking for. It's already inside you. It's the marvelous, miracle-working power in your very own subconscious mind. Dr. Murphy's whole point is that because it's the last place we ever think to look, most of us completely miss the true source of everything we experience in life.
Okay, so how does this power actually work? Well, it all starts with understanding what he calls the duality of your mind. See, you've got one mind, but it operates with two totally distinct functions. You've got your conscious, reasoning mind, that's the one you're using right now to listen and think about this. And then you have the subconscious mind, the emotional, creative, non-reasoning powerhouse working behind the scenes. To really get this, Dr. Murphy gives us this brilliant analogy. Think of your conscious mind as the captain of a ship. The captain's up on the bridge, making decisions, choosing a destination, and giving the orders. Now your subconscious mind, that's the entire crew down in the engine room. They don't ask questions, they don't argue, they just execute the commands. Which means if the captain orders them to steer toward the rocks, they'll do it just as faithfully as they'd steer toward a safe harbor. It all comes down to the orders given by the captain.
He also gives us another powerful way to look at it. You are a gardener. Every single thought you have is a seed that you're planting in the incredibly fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Now, this soil, it doesn't judge. It'll grow a beautiful flower or a poisonous weed with the exact same dedication. So if you're constantly planting seeds, thoughts of success, health, and peace, well, that's exactly the harvest you're going to reap in your life.
So this all brings us to the fundamental rule that makes this entire system work. Dr. Murphy calls it the law of belief.
The concept here is so simple, but it's really profound. It's not about complicated rituals or special incantations. The single governing law of your mind is simply belief. Whatever you habitually believe deep down in your gut becomes the blueprint that your subconscious mind works 24/7 to make real.
And this is the part you really have to get. Your subconscious accepts your beliefs as commands, period. It doesn't argue, it doesn't check the facts. If you're constantly thinking, I can never catch a break, your subconscious just goes, okay, boss, you got it, and make sure you don't. It's completely impartial. It will bring you failure just as willingly as it will bring you success. It's the belief itself that creates the result.
Okay, so that's the theory. Kind of makes sense, right? But the real question is, how do we actually put this into practice? Luckily, Dr. Murphy gives us a ton of simple, practical techniques. Let's look at a couple of them.
Dr. Murphy tells a great story about a young singer who was just paralyzed by stage fright. She had this amazing voice, but every time she went to an audition, her conscious thoughts of fear would just completely sabotage her. So how did she reprogram her subconscious to get over this?
She used a really simple 3-step technique. Several times a day, she'd find a quiet spot, relax her body, and just quiet her mind. And then she started to consciously plant new seeds in her subconscious garden. Seeds of confidence that would choke out those weeds of fear.
This affirmation became her new command to the crew down in her subconscious engine room. Instead of feeding it thoughts of fear and failure, she started feeding it confidence. She repeated this with real feeling, over and over again, basically stamping this new truth onto her deeper mind. And the result? At her very next audition, she was brilliant.
All right, now for a technique to build what he calls a wealth consciousness. And this one is almost shockingly simple, but Dr. Murphy swears by how powerful it is.
That's it. No, really, that is the entire technique, just one word. The logic here is that in that drowsy, hazy state right before you fall asleep, your conscious mind, the captain, is kind of off duty. Its resistance is low. That leaves the gate to your subconscious wide open. So by just lulling yourself to sleep with the feeling of wealth, you're impressing that powerful idea directly onto your creative mind without any argument.
When you really put it all together, all these techniques, the analogies, the laws, it all points to one huge, transformative conclusion. This is the ultimate takeaway from all of Dr. Murphy's work. Your life, your health, your finances, your relationships, they aren't random. They are a mirror reflection of the thoughts you entertain day in and day out. Your destiny isn't set in stone by some outside force. It's being written right now by you in the depths of your own mind.
And so, all of this really just leaves you with one vital question. Knowing that your mind is a garden and that your thoughts are the seeds, what are you going to choose to plant today? Because your harvest tomorrow depends entirely on the seeds you're sowing right now. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.